Gab made a good point yesterday, said that, OK, you can criticise Florentino Perez, but he's the only one, really, who has come out as very much the voice piece for this project. Whether or not you like it or not, he has put himself out there. Why has he felt it's so necessary to be seen talking about this?
I think that's a very good question, and I think it's a question that needs to be posed at the other members of this group, the other owners of clubs, or the other CEOs, or the other figureheads, because it does ask questions about why wasn't this managed in a different way? Why did you allow basically Florentino Perez and to a slightly lesser extent Andrea Agnelli to be the front for this? And also then there's another question, which is, did it work? Was this the right way of presenting this project? Now, let's make the assumption that we all love the Super League, which I'm not saying we do, but let's make the assumption that we all love the Super League. Let's make the assumption that we're entirely behind this, but that we know that at some point, somewhere in the world, it's going to encounter some opposition. You have to sell that product. You have to present it well. You have to make a point of this product looking strong, looking watertight, that the group of clubs involved are powerful and are all on exactly the same page. Now, first of all, when you say there's going to be 15 founding members, it had better be 15. Because if it's 12, you're already looking weak. You're already looking like there's cracks in this group. The other thing is that when you finally present this, beyond the statements that go on the club's websites, this needs to be presented with a united front. It needs all the clubs involved. It needs to be slick. The marketing needs to be good. The imagery needs to be good. The messaging needs to be good. Instead, what we got was, and apologies for saying this, Florentino Perez on his own, on a late night, tacky show in Spain on a minority channel. That's not the image from which you're going to sell this product, even if the product itself is absolutely brilliant.
What's the been reaction from the Real Madrid and Barcelona fans, Sid?
I find it quite difficult to give you a really clear answer on this because I think it's been mixed. I think we've seen some opposition in Spain. We've certainly seen some opposition, I think in particular from Atletico Madrid fans. We've seen a bit of opposition from some Barcelona fans, and of course some Real Madrid fans are against this. But we absolutely haven't seen the kind of backlash that we saw in England. We absolutely haven't seen the fury, except from other clubs and those left out, except from La Liga and those who feel threatened. From Real Madrid's own fans, we've heard very little of that. There's been little bits here and there. What we've heard more of, actually, I think, is a certain embracing of this. And in particular, if not so much an embracing, if you like, a kind of a defence of Florentino Perez as president, a defence of their position and their willingness to do this. And I think as well, actually a willingness to go ahead with this kind of project. And the idea that, which of course comes with the status that Real Madrid and Barcelona have, but in particular Real Madrid have, that sense, if you like, of their unique position in the Spanish game, that sense that some of these teams in La Liga are just not good enough for them. And I think actually there's been a certain sense of embracing this, of thinking that they wanted to do this. And then there's been a backlash against the backlash, if you like. I realise that we're going kind of all the way down a rabbit hole here, but there's been a backlash against the Super League and then a backlash against that, with people who are, in particular Real Madrid fans, saying, oh what, so we want to reinforce UEFA now? Do we? Is that what we want? Or is this really good for the game? And lots of people, I think, defending Florentino from some of the criticism that he's encountered.
So am I right in thinking only Gerard Piqué is who we've heard from?
Well, we've heard from at least one player from every club in La Liga over this round of games, because of course you've had La Liga come out and attack this. La Liga come out and have a go at the three clubs, and Javier Tebas, the president of the Liga, be very bullish about it. What we've seen after every single game that's been played in this midweek round of games is that the touchline interview, because of course the touchline interview is not just done by the TV channel that has the rights, but that TV channel that has the rights has a very close relationship with the league, so in part asks the question that the league wants it to ask. Every player who's done a touchline interview has been asked as the final question what he thinks about this. But of course there's a difference between asking those players and putting them on the spot, and in some cases they've come out against it, in some cases, and most cases in fact, I think they've said, well look, it's not really my place to talk. There's a difference between that and players actually coming out against it. And as you say, the only one I can think of is Gerard Piqué, who did so admittedly after the event, but he'd also done an interview with Jorge Vallano before the event, in which he talked about it very rationally, actually. He talked about some of the elements that he could understand, why clubs would want to do this, why they would want to push towards the Super League. But he also said, look, from a playing point of view, I'm not in favour of this. And I'm not in favour of this because we're ultimately going to end up with clubs like Villarreal Sevilla. I think he mentioned Everton as well. I think he mentioned Napoli. He didn't just stay in Spain. He said we're going to end up with those clubs being worth nothing, and I don't want that to be the case.
Last point, Sid. 2024, Florentino Perez said that football would die if there is no Super League. Are Real Madrid and Barcelona in such financial problems that that could be a reality?
No, there isn't a problem, I don't think, of them going out of business. But I think there is a problem or a risk from their point of view of losing their predominant and their preeminent status in European football. And I think that's the thing that we have to remember in all of this. When Florentino Perez in that first interview talked about saving football, I think you can strip it down. Saving football, okay. What you really mean is saving these 12 clubs. Okay, what you really mean is saving yourself. And I think that was the fundamental thrust of this. And I think that's the other point in all this, Dan. That one interview that Florentino Perez did, in which he talked about football being ruined, in which he talked about we have to do something or it's over, in which he said that UEFA are talking about a change in 2024, but we can't wait that long because we'll be out of business by then. We'll be dead by then. Now, of course, what happens is within 24 hours of doing that, all of these clubs have pulled out, the Super League is gone, and that leads to precisely the question you've just asked. Hang on, if the apocalyptic vision of Spanish football's condition at the moment, or football in general's condition at the moment, is true, and this has fallen through, then to be honest, you are absolutely, and of course the word is a bit rude, you're in trouble. You know, you're absolutely ruined. Now, I don't think that's entirely true, but it is true that the lasting impact, if you like, of that interview with Florentino Perez was to reveal in really stark terms something they hadn't revealed before, because of course it wasn't in their interest to do so, and that is that they are really, really worried about the financial situation they are in.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.